All right, how is everyone doing? Very interesting video today. Today I want to break down the routine. This is something, it's not a video I wanted to make really, because the routine that I have right now today is very different than the routine I had when I first started with my business. Okay, I don't work at the same level. I don't want to say I don't work as hard. It's just the work is different. The work is more leveraged. All right, and today I'm going to explain to you what that means exactly by leveraged. But here is a screenshot that I took of a May of 2023. Okay, so last year in a few months. This is what I used to do every single day when I first started my business. As you can see, each square is an hour-long call with either a client or a potential client. So it was basically sales calls and coaching calls. I did not have a life. This is Sunday to Saturday. So the entire week, every single day, I would be fully packed with like 8 calls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so 8 to 10 calls per day. Some days I wasn't super packed. Some days people were canceling calls, of course. But as you can see, my schedule when I first started was just grinding. Do as much as I physically can to be able to make money, like brute force, basically the system. So I didn't care about work-life balance. I did not care about going out with my friends, having fun, doing all of these things. All I wanted was to build something and make money. And I think it's very important that everyone goes through a phase in their life where they do this. Because if you don't do this, I promise you, you will not make it very far in business. Okay, so I made a video on this, like my schedule when I first started. But today I want to go over rather the schedule that makes me 100K per month, because the schedule is very different. It's more of a leveraged way of organizing my days. They're not super busy. I don't work as hard. I don't do 10 hours straight of like hardcore work. My schedule today is very different. Like one day it's going to be one thing and the next day it's going to be very different. All right. So I made a nice little pie chart for you guys, or rather it's going to become a pie chart on what my days look like. All right, so here we have the time. It's not super accurate, but basically I wake up, let me just give myself a center point. So I wake up at 9 o'clock in the morning, okay, more or less. Sometimes I wake up at 10, sometimes I wake up at 8, but that's around when I wake up. I don't put an alarm in the morning, okay? That's my luxury. It's something I've always wanted to have growing up. Like I used to hate waking up to an alarm, having to go to school or going to work. And it's just like, I just want to sleep until my body feels like it's rested enough to wake up on its own. That's like my mentality. So if one day I sleep till 11, then so be it, you know, because my body needs it. So that's how I've always operated. Granted, I do go to sleep pretty late. Typically it's like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. Sometimes I will stay up later, depending on what I have to do. Let's say 9 o'clock is typically what I wake up to. I typically give myself like an hour of just me waking up and answering like DMs, emails and stuff like that. So let me just put emails. This is my nice writing of emails. It's not very easy to write on a trackpad. But essentially the first hour when I wake up, of course I wake up, take a shower, all of this stuff, but it's mostly dedicated to answering quick DMs that I got during the night. Most of my team is in Europe or in different time zones. So they start working while I'm sleeping. So typically all of the problems that they're facing, they'll text me during the night. And then when I wake up, I spend like a 30 minutes just fixing all of the problems, answering people's questions, hopping on calls if needed. So sometimes this will be very long. It will go from 9 to 12, but typically it will be 9 to 10, depending, like if it's a normal day where nothing crazy is happening, typically just an hour just to answer my emails and stuff like that. So I do wake up and use my phone. All right, there's no cold plunges, there's no meditation and stuff like that. I don't do that. But anyways, so that's what I do. And then for the rest of the day until 12, more or less, this is my me time, which is the gym. All right, I work out. I give myself 2 hours. Now, it's not 2 hours of pure working out. I'll work out maybe for an hour, hour 15, hour and a half. This includes like walking, driving to the gym, as well as like eating and just getting myself prepared. But essentially my mornings, like till I wake up till 12, is quickly fix any problems that's facing in the company and then just working out. I really enjoy working out first thing in the morning. It gives me a boost for the rest of the day, and it's just how I've done. I also take pre-workout. So if I were to work out at like late 8 p.m., 9 p.m. and I take pre-workout, I cannot fall asleep afterwards, which is horrible. So I'd rather just do it in the morning. Once I come back here, I'll have, again, depends on the day. Typically it's like team calls if, again, it's needed. So this is not every day. Let's say 2 o'clock. So here's going to be team calls. I have meetings. That is what I do for most of my days. I just talk with my team. I have a bunch of head positions. So I have a person for my head of sales. So head of sales. I have one for acquisition, so getting us appointments, and then also fulfillment. All right, these are the main 3 guys that I will talk with on a daily basis. I'll make sure that each department does what needs to be done. And if ever there's any issues, then that's when I'm going to fix it on those calls with these people. Otherwise, it's just a normal checkup, just making sure everyone's doing well. Okay, so depending on the day, sometimes this will last very long, sometimes this will be super quick, but typically 2 hours, hour of a team call. And then from here, this is just going to be like quick personal work. Whatever's on my top priority list, I will take care of it right here. And I'll do it until I'm done. So here, there's an hour. Typically, this will last until 6 p.m. Okay, so I'm going to erase. Okay, so my personal work will last like 2 to 6, depending on how much work I have to do, what I'm doing exactly. Of course, when I say 2 to 6, okay, I know it's very easy. Like on social media, people will say like, oh, I sit down and I don't stop working. I'm in my flow, monk mode, all this crap, and I'm working for 6 hours straight without looking at my phone or anything. I'm not like that. I don't know if I'm lazy or whatever, but I do. This is me working, but also maybe taking a small break, going out, doing something, grabbing some food, grabbing something to drink, watching maybe a podcast or something like that, in intervals. But typically, depending on how urgent something is how focused I'm going to be on doing something. Okay, so there's always like a good stretch of like 2 or 3 hours where I really just focus working on one important stuff, and then the rest of the day I finish whatever else needs to be done. Okay, and then from 6 p.m. typically here I like to mix it up. Of course, I'm going to eat and everything. I'll mix it up like 6 to 9 of me just like learning. This would be either reading a book, it might be listening to a podcast, watching an interview, watching YouTube videos of other people, seeing what my competitors are doing. So I'm just going to try to learn something new that can benefit the company. That's basically my objective here. My objective every day is to learn at least one new insight. If I can learn one new insight that can benefit me, whether it be my personal life or my business, for me, that's a win. I learned something good. So I progressed like 1% better every single day. That's basically how I think. And while I'm doing this, typically as I'm learning, this will allow me to come up with new ideas for content, whether it be for YouTube or for the students that I'm working with. So from 9 p.m., typically it's like 8 p.m., like right now it's 9:30 p.m. So from 9 p.m. until 12, I'd say, this is content time for me. I really like working at night and making content. I don't know why. That's like when I come up with the best ideas. Like at the end of the day, I like to just turn on the camera and sort of just talk about whatever I was talking about with my team. So today, funny enough, the reason why I'm making this video is because someone on my team asked me about my daily routine. He's like, what do you do during the day? Like, what does your day look like? Which is how I got the idea of making this video. So typically that's why I like to do them at the end of the day. And also it's just like, it's therapeutic, just to turn on the camera and talk. So I like to really focus on content late at night. So from 8 until 12, depending on how much time it takes me, I will work on content. So I will come up with ideas. I don't script my videos. As you can see, I just sort of just do it on the fly. I will come up with video titles. I'll prepare the content calendar, record, post everything, and also work on short form content. That's something recently I've been working on. So I'm also going to do it late at night and just make sure everything's good to go. And just focus on recording content. It's either content for, again, YouTube or for my my mentorship, my students. So helping them, answering their questions, sending them personalized looms, just helping them with their businesses. And yeah, I'll do that till 12, 1 o'clock during the night. And yeah, from there, I'm just going to decompress. I typically like to put on a movie or just watch some random YouTube videos. But yeah, that's basically what my routine right now looks like. So I think the main takeaway is my time is very much focused on my team. That's what I noticed. Okay. It's how can I leverage my knowledge, give this person, my head of sales, an idea that I have. And instead of me, like back in the day, what would have happened? Let's say I came up with a new idea. I would have to block off, let's say this time, and work on the idea, which would force me to cancel 4 or 5 hours of calls. that was leveraging, that was helping me make money. So that was the balance issue that I was having, is that if I did come up with a new idea and I knew I had to work on something, I would have to sacrifice money. Like it's a direct correlation. 1 hour equals some amount of money that I make. But now what I do is, because I have a big team with me, whenever I come up with a new idea, instead of me having to do it plus all of my personal tasks, personal work right here, I will give the idea to whoever's responsible to put it in place, and I'll have that person focus on doing it. And I think that has been the biggest shift in my day-to-day, is just coming up with leveraged ideas of what my team should be doing, and then bringing it all together, and how can I have a good synergy between all of these three guys, and making sure that when one person scales, this person scales as well, and this person scales as well, and then in return, this helps us scale even further. So I hope this was useful. I know this looks a bit crazy. This is a very good lesson, okay? I stopped the video. I don't know if you heard the boop boop, all the Discord notifications. That is my team needing me. So whenever my team needs me, I basically I drop everything and I help them. And whenever they spam me like that, it's because it's kind of an emergency. So that's the idea. 9:30 and people are spamming me with questions and stuff. So that's basically the reality of running a business. I hope this video was useful. I hope it gave you some insights on like what the day in the life looks like for someone who's, a bit exited from the company and has people in place. But again, I think the most important part is that you will not start your business with this type of day-to-day, this type of routine. Okay, your life is going to look like this. And until you get out, it is not going to change. But when you slowly start hiring people and outsourcing yourself, then from there you can transition to a life that's a bit more leveraged, where you just come up with the ideas, which is the hard part. But once you have the idea, help your team implement everything and have it in a leveraged way. All right, so I hope this was useful. As usual, we'll see you in the next one. Peace.